This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Ladies and gentlemen, broadcasting live 100 feet from the Gulf of America. Here are your award-winning social media superstars, the hosts of Beach Talk Radio, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Yeah. That's when you applaud, everybody. Come on, Perry. That was your job. What do you mean it's not working? I know. Welcome to Wahoo Willies, everybody. Thank you for coming out on another rainy morning, which is so weird because, you know, we live in Florida. It's supposed to rain, but why in the morning all of a sudden this year? It's supposed to rain every day from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock to water the lawn and not in the morning like this.
It's rainy season.
It is. Let me turn your
I
mic
didn't know
up.
we were going to be photographed. My hair, this humidity is crushing it today.
Terrible. I can't believe you can get
and
out of the
I've
house.
got my goggles on. This is.
So I need to start the show off with a confession. Did get in the gym this morning, everybody. I don't know if you saw that. They actually opened up, which was nice. And, you know, what was weird about the gym today was that the girl that opens up the gym, she's probably 20. And it was like love songs, nothing but love songs playing on this. It was like Creedence Clearwater Revival rock block. And it was the weirdest kind of music.
I love CCR.
Yeah, but it's not really workout music.
Probably not.
So we did get in the gym. And one of the things I like to do because I'm competitive is be a juvenile in the gym, especially when Warren shows up, which is our daughter's husband.
Which would be our son-in-law.
Well, yeah. And we're down to 30 days or less now for the baby. So we'll have a baby coming along. So they have this sled in Crunch Fitness and a giant carpet where you push the sled. So we load up the sled with 45 pounds. And I say to him, I'm going to start the clock and you're going to go around the cone at the end and come back. And he goes, oh, okay. And I said, this is a race. Like he's 35 and I'm going to be 60. And I said, this is going to be a race. You're going to go first and I'm going to go second. So he goes and he does it in 17.9 seconds. And I said, okay. And I'm thinking, I'm going to die trying to do this. And I got it around the cone. And I feel like you come around the cone and you feel like you're going in slow motion with that thing. You feel like going so slow. 17.6. Beat him by 0.3 of a second. And
You are so petty.
I know. And I was like, oh, yeah, time to go home.
So
Cha-ching. Yeah.
petty.
Yeah. So I said,
I'm sure he held back because he knows your ego can't take it.
Yeah. I said, you might want to listen to the show today because I'm going to talk about our workout. And the second thing is, I don't know.
And then I have a thing.
Wait.
Tell what happened.
So I'm a little upset with Billy at Wahoo Willies because without even inviting me, they have a softball team in Cape Coral. They play in Cape Coral, which of course is now our second favorite place on the planet. Thank you for everybody for coming out to the show. They have a softball team. They play somewhere in Cape Coral, and they lost their game the other night by a score of 29-0. That's a shutout.
Ooh.
That's like the mercy rule in softball, 29-0. And as you know, I'm a world-class athlete, so I'm very upset that they didn't ask me to join their softball team. They might as well put me on the team now because they suck so bad. 29-0 is horrible. So
when was the last time you played softball?
I did try once about 15 years ago, and as soon as I hit the ball, my calf popped, and that was the end of it. You know, when you get to a certain age, you're not supposed to try and run fast. And the other thing I want to let you know about Wahoo Willies, he told me to say this part. He didn't tell me to say that part. It's $5 parking here for the month of September. So if anybody wants to come to Wahoo Willies and park, it's $5. If you come into Wahoo's,
to the camera, these guys are already here.
Well, if you come into Wahoo's, now that you're all here, you can ask for a $5 coupon as you leave if you parked here. And then next time you come, you can use the coupon to park for free. So, and that includes here and it includes Snug Harbor. So you have free parking next time, but you have to go to the restaurant and have something to eat. So what did you want to say before we get to our guest?
I just wanted to say you're no good with security. The dog has to go out. Petey, he's still a puppy. So he goes out in the middle of the night. So last night, he gets walking around on the bed. So I take him out. Now I don't know what time it is, But as I walk out, he starts to growl, which I'm like, well, what is that about? And then I start hearing voices, not like in my head, but like actual voices on the street. And so I go, well, again, this is all happening quickly. I'm like, it must be the walkers. We have a group of walkers. But then I'm like, it's really, really dark. So I look at I'm blinking my eyes with my contacts, which is why they're not in. And it is like 2:58 in the morning. So then I'm like, it's not the walkers. And here comes some guy walking in front of the house. Now the dog's going nuts. I'm trying to hold his muzzle shut. And some guy's talking on the phone. He's got a black, just in case anyone needs to know, he had a black hoodie on with white, like, words on the side. And of course he looks at me and I'm like, oh, I'm like, Petey, say hello.
Yeah, the dog's that big.
Like, hi, And so then he walked on down the street and I couldn't let it go. So I came running back in the house. I went in the bathtub because our window, and I peeking through the windows no, he's not there. So I go into where the bedroom is and I'm peeking through, I'm that neighbor that's like, and I see him standing there and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to wait and see what happens.
And so nothing happened.
A car came by. I don't know if it picked him up or what happened, but the reason that we're so worried, I get so nervous about that is there was a really unfortunate event a couple of years ago where someone did get and the perpetrator walked by our house.
Yeah.
So
anyway, nothing happened. Everything was fine. But
I don't know if you hear of any crime that happened in Gateway. Tell them that I'm sorry.
Bill's got to go somewhere. I'm sorry. We're extending our silly show here. This brings me a memory that I need to share with you.
And you slept the whole time.
I was tired. So it brings me back to a memory
where
I woke
you up. You said, no, I'm not going to go out there.
We had an incident in our house once where somebody tried to break into the car, broke into the car and stole.
Move to Gateway. It's super safe out there, folks.
Yeah. So this one who thinks she's a badass, she gets dressed up in a black ninja suit, so she's totally black, and she puts fishing line around the house because she figures this kid's coming back. And sure as shit, the kid came back, and here she is with her ninja suit. This is our new invention here, everybody. It works so well. As you can see, it's wide enough to cover the whole screen in the back. And Megan, you're just gonna have to stand there the whole show.
Not only do you suck at security, this is not your thing either.
So Dan, the wise ass, he said, who built the PVC pipe, which I did. But the thing was, I forgot.
You got to put sand in the bottom of it.
I forgot to get the tripod thingy to the back so it had a stand. But the fact is, it wasn't wide. I didn't even buy it wide enough so that it could cover. And the
point of your original story was it did pay off for me to sit there in my ninja outfit with the GoPro on because when they came back with their friends to exact revenge, they got all stuck up. They're like, what is this? And they're in the fishing wire. And then I jump out from the little alcove of Lanai, and I'm like, I got you. And they were like, this crazy.
Yeah, they're never coming back to our house.
It's got us all wrapped up. They're like spiders in a web. And I'm sitting there videotaping. I don't know for what. But
there was no drinking involved on our part that night to get dressed up in ninja outfits. Totally sober.
Nope.
Ladies and gentlemen, come on down. Bill Wachulis from the Pink Shell Resort. We love Bill. And if you're a late arriver to the show, we are giving away 10 pool passes. We'll give them away a pair at a time throughout the show. And Donia, let's pick a winner right now. If we, I don't know where she is. Donia, she's still giving out the tickets. Well, if anyone gets her attention, we'll get our first winner of pool passes. And also we're giving away a pair of tickets at the end of the show to the Chris Young concert, which will be at the Pink Shell. So Bill Wachulis is the president of the Pink Shell Resort. And Bill, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Ed.
I gave you a little flashback there, too. I put on a special little a microphone thing, Pete's Time Out, the original microphone holder there. And Bill, tell us a little bit about the Island Hopper, what the plan is for the Island Hopper at the Pink Shell.
Well, we've got, songwriters starting Friday night. And then Saturday, we've got evening event with songwriters. And then we do the large event, which was with iHeartRadio. We do the big concert, and Chris Young is the main act, and that'll be Sunday. He goes as I think they start around 5 with a pre-act, and then he'll go on right after that.
Who's playing before him? Do you know? Is it a local?
I do not know. I don't know who's opening up for him.
Okay.
Well, and they're in the past, the Island Hoppers had a website where you could
Oh,
go
yeah.
and
They got one.
see where everybody who's playing. I mean, it's a big event.
Yeah, it's all over Fort Myers here.
Starts it's what 38 events throughout Cape Coral to Fort Myers Beach.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Sweet. The first winner of the tickets is Roy Dixon. You get you get one pair of pool passes, which I have right here. So Roy, raise your hand and we'll bring the tickets over to you.
He's coming.
Now, Bill, you're also one of the reasons I want to bring you on too was not only talk about the Island Hopper Festival. How are things going at the Pink Shell?
Well, it's September is the tough month for all of us. Any business on the beach, it's the tough month. So, but it's been a good year. I mean, you look at July; it was our third best July we've ever had. You
Wow.
take the first and second were just after the COVID year, so July was real good for us. But obviously, we need to get through a couple seasons of no hurricanes, and I think business will be a lot better in September and October.
And you guys were up quickly after the storm. I mean, it was built for something not like Ian, but it was certainly built strong.
Yeah, we're fortunate to be in newer construction. I think after Ian, we were up 60 days afterwards. So
yeah.
Wow.
And
I just want to ask a very important question.
Uh-oh.
Where did you get that shirt?
yeah, no kidding. It's got pink flamingos on it.
It's pink.
It says Florida, doesn't it?
It sure
it
does.
certainly does.
Let's see. Airport, right?
You're asking
Johnston
someone-
Murphy is where I got it at one of the airports.
Okay.
So flying through.
Oh, you didn't order it special from the Pink Shell?
No.
I see.
But it does say pink shell too.
Yeah, for sure. So the other thing I want to talk to you about was you're on the TDC, which is the Tourist Development Council. You've been on that committee for a while.
Yeah, it's been over 10 years now.
10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So does somebody have to nominate you on the county board? Is that how that works, like the other committees?
Yeah. So originally, I got on the board as a non-voting part of the FRLA, the Florida Restaurant Lodging Association.
Okay.
I sit on that board, so I was a non-voting participant, and then I can't remember even who came off, and I was selected on by the time Commissioner Mann put me on the
Wow.
spot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Right.
Commissioner
And-
Mann, the
yeah.
last Democrat standing on the commission. Was he a Democrat? I think he
I don't-
converted at some
He
point.
converted at
Yeah.
some point. Yeah.
So about the Tourist Development Council, one of the things that's always interesting is how much of the tax money goes to the TDC budget from Fort Myers Beach. Is it still the highest number? I know it's come down after Ian because of there's not as much going on here, but it used to be a big number, right? Dan sits on the TDC too. Oh, you're not on this year. Third now.
Yeah, we're third right now.
Who's above you?
Bonita and
Okay.
Cape Coral, I think.
Right, but there was a time where it was always number one,
Well,
right?
it was always between Fort Myers Beach and Sanibel. It would
Mhm.
flip flop for the most part. But now that you have 50% of the hotels not back
Right.
online, it's going to be tough for us to come back to number one, number two. But
Yeah. So
I mean, honestly, would you say it's number 3?
it's not bad.
Considering,
Yeah.
considering what you're, all that's gone on, that's still pretty good.
What is your prediction of how the season will play?
what's your prediction on hurricanes?
0.
I think
You mean
It would-
0 to hit here?
I think the
not-
fourth quarter will be. I think people are pulling back a little bit. With
Financially?
inflation, financially,
Mhm.
but and I think society's changed that people still value their vacation trip as a very important thing for them to do. So I think you're going to still see people pull back, but I think they will still travel. They'll still come. I think if we don't have any hurricanes, I think it'll be a good fourth quarter for us. As I mentioned, we had third best July ever at the Pink Shell. So, but September, October are usually the tough months for, everybody's worried about hurricanes. And
Yeah.
if we can get through
Mhm.
this without a hurricane, all the better. And I think
Right.
26 will even be a better year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, September and October, are not great months any year, whether there's been a hurricane, whether there's rooms available or not. I mean, it's just a tough time of year every year.
Yeah, September is always tough. We always, we have 300 associates at the Pink Shell. It's a great time that most of our associates take their vacation time, and we do our renovations. I mean, we're getting ready to do a $2.5 million renovation to the spa and get it reopened.
Wow.
With 2 suites, and we're partnering with Our House Furniture for those 2 suites in the spa. So hopefully by the end of the year, you will see those back online.
You mentioned that you had the 3rd best July. It doesn't make any sense to me. How come? Why? I mean, a lot of people have been saying July and August have been pretty good. Why do you think July was so good this year compared to previous years?
Well, I think you got an issue with inventory,
Right?
So I think is one. Yeah, I think a lot of people that typically went to Sanibel there's not a lot open on Sanibel, and the ones that are open are newer properties here on Fort Myers Beach, and I think we're getting some of those Sanibel past guests coming to Fort Myers Beach. The Pink Shell, we got a really strong repeat, and we were looking at the numbers, and 47% is our repeat. So
Wow.
a typical resort is in the 20%. So I mean, we take a lot of pride in making sure people have a great stay with us and return to us.
So, what do you
Is that
think?
Water or
Yes. Well,
Just
Diet
checking.
Coke. What do you think about, like, you probably communicate with some folks up on the north end, and it almost seems like the north end of the condos up there are moving a little slower than the south end. What's going on up there? What do you hear?
I think
yeah.
Vacation Villas, which is right next to Bowditch, which is right next to us, they're pretty much done.
Yeah.
I think some of the condos took the opportunity to do a lot of concrete restoration, a lot of cast iron work because they were older buildings. I think they took the ability with it, after recovering from me, and to do a little bit more work to get it all done at one time and have a finished product. So I think that's what's happening. And then you have a mix of properties still dealing with their insurance, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. What is your
Crazy.
overall thought or opinion on how Fort Myers Beach is recovering?
I think it's a little bit slower. I mean, if you would have, like, the day after the storm was, what, the 28th, the 29th, I think my impression was, I don't know, 3 to 5 years. I think we're in the 3 to 5 year window now before you see the island.
Another 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think
Yeah.
that's,
What do you attribute that
Why?
to?
I attribute to, I think the fact that we had 2 storms in
That came
between that
after.
time that didn't help us. I think a lot of these businesses still dealing with their insurance has caused a delay. Until you start seeing large projects getting underway and construction going, I think there's a stall on the real estate. So I think that, unfortunately, those are the drivers. I think the town, I think the staff, I think our council, I think they're doing a great job of trying to move everything along as fast as possible. But man, we put a sign up at the Pink Shell just to show the level of the water surge.
Mm-hmm.
16 feet.
Yeah.
Right.
16 feet. I mean, I don't know of any storm, and I've been through many of these. This was the worst. I mean, I've been through Charlie and Andrew. This is horrible. So I think even if we're, I don't know, 6 years of getting the recovery, I think that's still monumental.
What do
Well,
you?
the
go
other
ahead.
thing too is that, something's got to move forward, and then the people will come, because it's kind of a double-edged sword, because things aren't getting built, because everybody's like, are people going to come? And they're not going to come if things don't get built. So it's, how do you push that through? How are you guys
Needs to be next.
creating? Yes. What needs to be next? And how are you guys creating a buzz for people to come down to the Pink Shell?
Well, I think we're focusing really on our past guests right now. That's who we market to. That are your fans that come and been to the resort before. And if you look back, like a year ago, we've got a lot more businesses open now. So there is a lot more to do on the island. That was the biggest complaint if you asked me last year. Now it's not as big of a complaint. A lot of the buildings that needed to get down are down now. So the island is starting to look better. But, it's still great beaches and sunny weather. And
well, the beach is 100% better. I mean, that alone is a reason to come down to Fort Myers Beach because it's huge.
Yeah. Well, you've always had a big beach down there. It just got bigger, right? I mean, it really was a wide beach. And the thing that cracks me up is even with the beach the way it is, people find a reason to complain. Like it's too thick. It's not thin enough. My feet hurt or something. It's like, dude, you just stand on that beach and look at it. Yesterday when I was pretending like I was running on the south end, you just could see. It was like everybody left the beach so I could have it to myself. So I didn't embarrass myself walking fast. But
maybe
you could
that
just
was more
see how
that
big
you
the beach
needed a
is.
shower.
And besides it, the beauty, it's also a huge protection for the island.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first, our first protection when we get these storm surges.
And are you getting plantings or do you already have them out there?
Monday. They start doing the plantings on Monday. So we're excited. Chad and his team start planting on Monday. They're going to work starting at the north end and they're going to work their way south. So
sweet.
Yeah.
So I heard from a bird that you're like a classic car collector, a classic car, like you build cars.
Yes, that's my hobby. It's my stress relief. So
really, how many cars have you built?
Finished, probably 7.
Wow.
My wife's not listening. There's 13 of them. So,
what do you mean 13 of them? Somewhere.
I have 13 cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Where are you hiding those at?
Yeah.
Do you have one of those toy box places?
Well, actually, we live in Briarcliff, so we're on 4 acres. So I have a man cave actually on the property. So
what kind of cars have you built?
Anything between 1927 and 1972. If you get, in my opinion, and hopefully there's no car people will get upset with me. Once I think things changed after 72 with the emission controls. So I
that was horrible.
72.
That was horrible.
So you wouldn't be able to help him out with his 2023 Chevy that can't seem to get the.
Can I tell you a little sidebar story here?
Off of it every single time.
I've had this truck.
You need a new computer. You just need to tell them they have to put a new computer.
It should be under warranty.
It is. I've had the truck for not even 2 years. On my way to the beach, which is 19 miles, it takes 20 minutes most with no traffic. I get over the bridge. And the computer starts lighting up. Your engine is overheating. Idle the engine. I'm like, it makes the air conditioning shuts off. The radio shuts off. The computer is yelling at me to pull over and idle the engine.
You can hear the fan kick on and it doesn't stop running.
You shut the truck off and you go to the gym. And then I come out and the fan's still running from the half hour I'm at the gym. It's just, the thing is bizarre. And I call and I've taken it in twice. The guy,
at least.
Here's the thing though, and she's gonna hate this. Every time I take it in, it's under warranty. So I hand the guy $50. That's what I tip people. I like to be a good tipper. I don't know, is that good?
Tip them on the way out.
I did.
Like if the light is off.
I did.
I tipped.
It was fixed. The guy said the check engine light's not going to come on. It was this other thing was happening.
I'm coming down there. I'm getting his tip money back, and I'm getting this damn vehicle fixed.
But this
I'm
is the
over
thing.
it.
I gave him so much love when I first bought it. We took a picture with the salesperson and the whole thing. And then, I would already get rid of it if I didn't have all that yellow shit on it. I mean, all the wording is on it. What am I going to do? I'm stuck with that thing for the rest of my life. So the next day I get in the thing and the check engine light comes on and I'm taking pictures of the engine saying, your truck's about to blow up. Get out. I'm waiting for the thing to eject me out the side window or something. I mean, people tell you buy American. Sometimes you got to think about twice about that, right? So anyway, what was your favorite car to build? Please don't tell me a Chevy Colorado because I will just walk off.
No, they weren't back in 72.
I don't know. I've got a 57 Cadillac that came out of Las Vegas, and it's got a patina on it.
What?
Go ahead. I knew he's not going to know what that word is.
Means. Yeah. So it's like the original paint on the car.
Yeah.
It sat in the sun for 50 years and it
faded.
It's faded. It's different colors.
That's called patina.
It's called patina. So I clear coated the car, and you can never repaint a car to make it look like it. It's just naturally done.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite. It's
So 57 Cadillac.
57 Cadillac. And
Wait. You're going
It
too
must
fast.
be really, really big.
You're going
you could put a couple bodies in the back.
nice. Very nice.
Somebody might have if it came out of Las Vegas. They're
So,
probably in Lake Mead.
is that in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's where all the bodies are.
Oh, okay. How do you know all this stuff? I'm not worried about that. So a 56.
I'm gonna get a patina on you and dump you in Lake Mead.
So Bill, when you say you build a car, do you just stand out in your yard and say, okay, I want to build a 57 Cadillac, or do you find one on Craigslist and buy it broken and it ships to you? How do you
They
start?
say there are no stupid questions, but I gotta say
I'm not a car
was.
person.
What do you think? He's using a 3D printer to get the
I
car?
don't. There's
of
a lot
course
of
he's taking
there's a lot of people out there that are saying that was a
good.
good question.
No, he's rebuilding it.
Yeah, you just come across these cars, and I don't know. I like to bring something back that had no use, that was more or less dead, to come and bring it back to life.
And you can drive them all 13.
I was planning on driving one of them today, but I do not drive them if it's raining. So I just don't do it.
Which one would you have driven to the mayor's show? Just out of curiosity.
It was going to be the Cadillac,
Nice.
but I also have it's also called a COE, cab over engine.
Of course,
So,
I knew that. Cab over engine.
so-
Everybody knows what that is, Bill. I mean, that's
cab
insulting.
over engine. It's a 46 Chevy. So.
Wow, 46 Chevy. You got to send me pictures of these cars so I can post them on our Facebook page, because we make money on Facebook now. So people are going to love that one. By the way, if you're on Facebook, like and share. Every time you do that, I get 2 cents.
I'll send you some.
Nice,
photos.
very nice. And with your pink shirt on, waving out the window. And
Could you dress up as Elvis? Because that would be really cool.
Oh, nice.
Actually, we'll send the mayor over in his bunny outfit, his Easter bunny outfit. So, anything else that you want to share about your life or your wife or your lifestyle or whatever your hobbies are? Or pink
No,
show?
I think just a shout out to
Or
the
the pink
businesses
shell.
on Fort Myers Beach, and I think if you're watching, you're local or you're up north, come down. I think we need you down here.
Yes.
Everybody's slowing down, and I think it's sorry if you're up north, it is starting to get cold and great, and that helps the phone start ringing. But a lot of all these employees depend on you being down here. So
And this is a good time. If you're up north, this is a great time to come down.
fantastic.
The rates are good.
Yep.
The beach, as you just said, you're going to have the pick of wherever you want to go. You're not waiting in lines. Traffic is low. Like, this is the time to go.
Yeah.
This is the shoulder to get on and come on down.
As much as I know people hate the traffic, I can't wait to hear people start to complain about traffic again, because that means things are, the cash registers are ringing.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see what happens with the changes with the road.
Yeah, the
when we
lights.
get into season, is it better? I mean,
Right.
you'd hope it would be.
One light that I realized I was happy about today was when I left. I did a walk around at 820 Buttonwood because they're closing this week. When I was coming out of that street and there's a traffic light there, that was a good idea, because if you want to
Yeah.
come on the beach from that road in season,
Take your life
it's a
in
mess.
hand.
Yeah, it's a mess. So, all right, Bill. Well, thanks so much, and thanks for all the prizes. We appreciate it very much, and I look forward to the pictures and sharing the pictures with everybody. Can we get a big hand for Bill?
Thanks, guys. Have a
the
great day.
president.
Beach Talk Radio.
The president of the Pink Shell Resort, which is a resort on the north end of the island. And we're going to do a drawing. Let's pull a winner right now. Dear, why don't you do that? My lovely sidekick here of 38 years is going to pull the next winner. All right. And your next winner let's do 2, because we have 10. We have 10, so let's do one more. This is somebody Farley. It's Lawton Farley. Did I read Laurel Farley? I asked you guys, Lauren Farley. Sorry. See, I asked people to write neatly. That's all I asked. That's all my one request was. It's not really that neat. And please, no script. Don't write in scripts. You can't read script. And the next winner is, thank you again, Bill, for everything. Barry Hansen. Did he win again? Barry Hansen. It was so funny because yesterday we gave away a pair of, we gave the new sizzling menu away at the Margaritaville, and Barry and Doreen were the only two at the show yesterday. So I just handed them the prize.
I should have had you.
Buy
My
lottery
lotto ticket. But I bought $10 worth. And guess what?
You lost.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So congratulations to
All right.
the people in Texas and Missouri, and probably, I'm not going to say it, but you'll enjoy it.
All right, before we get to the mayor, what? No, they're not going back in. You can only win once. And at the end of the show, we'll give away the Chris Young ticket. So we still have three pair of passes to the Pink Shell Pool and Chris Young tickets. By the way, you can buy, if you want to buy a raffle ticket for $20 for a weekend getaway at the Pink Shell, we're donating all that money to the Cape Coral Youth Council. You can do that here tonight. It's $20, and you're entered into a drawing that we're doing in 2 weeks at our show on Friday night in Cape Coral, and we're raising money for the Youth Council. They're getting ready to go to Washington, D.C. We love kids. The more kids, the better. We need more babies in this world. So is anyone here want to have a baby? Raise your hand. All right, we're all past that age of having babies. Tom Coleman is with Eagle Eye Aluminum. Usually he's sitting right here, but for some reason they sissied out today and didn't show up to the show after their 7-week trip to Alaska on some kind of cruise to Alaska. It's not as good as Stephen Clark's cruise. I don't know if you've seen any of his pictures, but there is something else. Those guys are having the time of their life. Tom Coleman is with Eagle Eye Aluminum, specializing in seamless gutters as well as aluminum and vinyl soffits. They worked on the Hotka House, which is a lovely house in Mid-Island. If you want to go and just take a look at Tom's work, or just peek in the windows of the Hotka House, see what they're doing during the day. You give Tom Coleman a call at 239-340-1639, 239-340-1639. All right, let's do one more winner as our guest of honor comes down the aisle to sit in our short studio wall here. It doesn't work. All right, get your tickets ready, everybody. Dear, put it back in if we can't read it. And the winner is Aaron Harris. Aaron, all right. Aaron is our favorite bartender of all time. Dear, come on, get in. We got to continue here. We got this. Today is like the best day of the NFL football season because everyone has hope that their team has a chance. It's probably the only Giant game I'm going to watch this year because after that, we know they're going to suck badly. And you've got a new quarterback at your helm there that could be the quarterback of the future.
Yeah, I think he's in for a rough go here against the Bears on Monday night.
Are the Bears a good team?
Well, I mean, it's your first game on the road in a divisional game at a rowdy stadium. I think it's going to be difficult, but it'll. I think we'll get a good look at his true colors.
And that's J.J. McCarthy playing for the. Got to turn it up a little bit. Dan's head's kind of cut off, and a little bit more toward him, and a little bit down more. This is a totally professional operation here. We just do things. Turn the thing down. All right, now we're good, I guess.
Does that little light really do anything?
I don't know. I've been experimenting. I've got $10,000 worth of shit in my closet at home, and I have no idea. I got probably 17 microphones now and 50 of these cameras, and now I've got a backdrop that's too short that doesn't cover the whole thing.
I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
I was just surprised to see you were able to piece together 4 pieces of PVC.
It was so funny you bring that up because I
He
bought the
didn't.
PVC. I measured it out that I needed. It's 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
I think it's 6 feet tall,
No,
and
it's
8 feet
8 feet
tall,
tall,
whatever,
6
6
wide.
feet wide, which is too short. And so I'm measuring it out, and I'm going to go to Home Depot or Lowe's, and I'm going to get a piece of PVC pipe that's 6 feet and 8 feet. Of course, you go to Lowe's, and they're all 10 feet. So I'm like, oh shit! Now what am I going to do? So
You have
now,
to cut them.
okay. Thank you very much, wife. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much for telling
They
me
have
that.
a little special place where you can do it yourself.
So I get home. Of course, it doesn't fit in the truck. So the baby truck. So I have to shove him in the back, and then I put a pink flag on the end because all I had was my pink handkerchief to blow my nose because you're old. You got to blow your nose all the time. So I tie it to the back of the PVC pipe because I'm afraid it's sticking out the side. So I get home, and I'm like, how the hell am I going to cut these things? So we have a hacksaw that we bought during the first Ali Frazier fight. It's that old. I mean, and so I'm trying to cut
Still
PVC
works.
pipe, which isn't hard to cut
Yeah.
with a hacksaw. And so 2 hours later, I got 4 pieces of PVC pipe.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yes, is he still alive?
I can hear
No, I
that
don't think
social
so.
media song playing in the background. Real Men of Genius.
So Dan, the first thing I want to say is you got to get a pressure washer out to that Bayside Park. The tiles over there, have you seen them?
Well, before we start, I want to take a minute.
We started
Yeah,
already.
No,
We
no,
started
no.
5
We're going to
minutes ago.
start with the good news, but go ahead.
Well, that's not good news, but I want to take a minute to.
But Dan, we agreed we were going to do
well,
good news
I know,
first.
but it is. I mean, it's not good
I know
news,
what you're
but
gonna do.
we lost a really good community member
Mhm.
this week, and Betty Simpson, and she was the chair of the BORCAB committee for. Well, when I got on it, she's been on it for a long time. I believe she was one of the first LPA members to serve in the town, and she had a really unique background. She had stuff to do with the pink shell cottages and stuff like that. So she had a really, really cool history and was really involved, and she did cookies with their group, in Times Square for New Year's Eve all the time. So we lost her this week, but I'm sure she's in a better place.
Yeah, there was one. You run across a few people in life that are always. They seem like they're always happy,
always smiling.
She always had a smile on her
And she
face.
had
Always
the
kind.
best handwriting I've ever seen.
Really,
And it was so small. I'm like, how do you even read that, Betty?
She was always dressed to the nines at every
Yes.
event you
Yeah.
would see her at.
Yeah.
I mean, and she
Always smiling.
always smiling, and she was very active
Yes.
all the way.
She was.
all the way.
just
through.
like Dan
yeah.
Hughes, just like
Yep.
Dan Hughes, all the way
Yep.
Yeah, Seal.
until they couldn't do it
Mhm.
anymore. And she came to one of our events. The event that we had was at the Pink Shell. It was we did a second anniversary luncheon or something. I don't remember if it was the second or first. I'm losing track of the years
She was
now.
always popping up at
Yeah, she would.
certain
She
places.
she used to walk her toward
Yep.
the end there,
Yep.
but
Yep.
always smiling. And it's just it's. I don't even know how old she was, but
I don't know exactly. I know she was in her 90s, I believe.
wow.
But I
She was
don't
in
know
great
exactly
shape,
how
yeah.
old she was. I mean, when she would come to the BORCAB meeting, she would always have her notebook, and she could go back and tell you exactly. She could reference back in that notebook exactly
Yeah.
to a conversation that was
and
had.
when she was in a meeting, whether it was BORCAB or one of she was on two committees, I think.
I think she's on Seal Cab too.
yeah,
I wanna
Cell
say.
Cab.
Yep.
Is it Seal Cab or
Cell
something?
Cab,
Yeah.
Seal Cab.
So somebody might be saying something that was slightly negative, and then Betty would try and steer it back to okay, find the
Yeah.
positive thing about it. That was just her
Yep.
nature all the time.
Always the positive.
Yeah. So did you want to start with some good news? That seems like my wife wants to do this good news bit.
That's
thing.
great. No, that's great. I just wanted to make sure that we
Yes.
wish or well send our thoughts to
Yeah.
to Betty's family.
All right. So do you need me to go out there and pressure wash that the
He
tiles
didn't get
out
to do
there?
the good news.
All right. Come on, dear. What's the good
Listen,
news? Dan?
here's the thing with the you shouldn't talk. Have you looked at our tiles
Inside or outside?
outside?
That's not
bad.
You just answered the question.
So we come home from the Cape Coral show Friday night, and our dog is 14 years old now.
Oh,
The bulldog
God.
is 14 years old. I mean,
Cookie.
you can yell at the dog like this close, and she can't hear you anymore. I think I was telling you guys this story after the show. And so I get home from the Cape Coral show, and I look in the garage door, and I've never seen so much pee on the ground. Like the bladder must have just exploded by the back door. And it's just like, I mean, what are you going to do? I'm yelling at her. Why am I yelling at the dog? The dog can't hear me, first of all.
Well, just like you, we're gonna get her diapers.
Yeah, and that's what Doreen was saying. It's like,
Yeah.
when you have to put your bulldog in diapers, I think that
Yeah.
what kind of quality of life is
But
this?
if I had to put you in diapers, it doesn't mean I'd put a pillow over your face.
I'm pretty sure it does mean that, dear. I'm pretty sure it does mean that.
Maybe after the first time you had to change it.
And then you'll be calling Bill for his Cadillac. So
It is a cool car.
So
I gotta take it back to Las Vegas.
the second question, being that you're not going to answer the pressure washing question, is
Well, he didn't get a chance, to be fair.
Yeah.
so at the LPA this week. By the way, if anybody is going to the LPA, it's going to be at Diamond Head, not at Bay Oaks. I know, Jim, we were trying to figure it out on the walk around yesterday at the new town hall, and I think Will might have thought it was going to be at Bay Oaks. It's going to be at Diamond Head. But finally, after Wednesday, you won't have to worry about anything anymore because all the meetings will be in the new town hall.
Yes.
So, okay, I forgot my question.
I don't know.
Oh, I know what it was. So the LPA, Bowditch is coming up on the LPA, and the pier is coming up in front of the LPA, and they need a special exception for the pier, which David Mullica said was going to start construction this year and be open by sometime like August 2027, which I think would be a major miracle if that actually happened. But part of the staff recommendation is to not allow construction during turtle season. That would knock 6 months. It's basically 6 months off of the construction. So is there possibly a way to get around that?
Yeah, I don't know that that will necessarily hold up. I'd be surprised. I mean, why can't you work during the day?
Right.
You know, I
Right.
don't know. Those would be questions I would ask. It would be, I would, you know, why can't you have construction during the day? Obviously, at night that makes sense. But we've had other construction projects on the island that have worked through turtle season, and were able to mitigate any kind of thing that they had to do to be able to be compliant with working. So,
But it was.
I'm sure
was
the
Were
LPA
they were they on the beach?
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
construct. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm sure the LPA will vet those questions out and ask staff exactly why they were recommending that. But you know, during the day, it doesn't make sense to me. And I don't know when the last time a turtle nested anywhere near Times Square. It's been quite a while, but it'll be interesting to see the conversation on, because those would be the questions I'd ask: is why can't they work during the day? And
It
why
didn't say
did
that.
you recommend
And then
that?
take their stuff off at night and fill
Yeah,
any
it doesn't make
holes
sense to
and
mobilize and demobilize. And
But
I
they
mean,
wouldn't
we
be-
were able to do it with the beach renourishment through the entire length of the island. Yeah, is it inconvenient? Sure, but can it be done? Absolutely.
There was nothing that said just during the. I mean, you don't work at night anyway. You're not building a pier at
Most
night.
people, I mean, some have asked to work 24 hours a day through the night, which is a little bit more difficult.
Right.
Obviously, because the lighting's got to be a certain hue and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure they'll vet it all out and get it worked out. I don't see there being an issue with it moving forward.
If you didn't get a chance to watch yesterday's Saturday show, we had Mark Stevens on from Stevens Construction. His company built the beach bar. His company, I didn't know all this until yesterday. They're going to be building the Salty Crab. They're going to be building the Meyer side. There was one other one that he told me about. They got like 5 big projects on Fort Myers Beach that they're either redoing. What? Meyer side. Yeah, they're building Meyer side. And EIBC was the other big one that they're building. So that'd be awesome.
They're a quality outfit. They do a good job. I mean, you could look at some of the work that they've done out towards the airport. I believe Neogenetics was one.
Oh wow.
I want to say Scott, the hauling company. I want to say that was maybe another one. I could be wrong, but I want to say it was one of those 2 that they did. So, you know, that.
And he's such a nice guy.
He's a
He
super
is.
nice
I got
guy.
to meet them at the beach bar when it opened, and they had their whole crew there, and
the
they
reason,
really get it done. They're very nice, very professional.
the reason I brought that up and the reason we brought him on the show is because I know some folks are having trouble finding a builder, and they feel some folks are actually getting screwed by a builder. Now, he's not a residential builder. He's a commercial builder, but still call him. And if he recommends you a residential builder that's not called a man with a plan, then you should probably listen to him, because he knows
and
what
with
he's
the beach
doing.
bar, you got to see firsthand the quality work they do,
Mhm.
and how fast and how clean they keep their job site, and you know, all those things are very important. They're safe. So I mean, it's good to hear that they're going to be doing some more projects.
So Doreen Allers says that she
God.
can fix my truck. Is that true?
She probably could.
That's your mom.
I'll tell you a quick story about my mother since she's listening. So my very first car was a 1978 Plymouth Volare. And, you know, I was brought up, if you want a car, you got to earn it yourself, pay for your own insurance, fix it yourself. Well, I was a, you know, pimply faced 16-year-old kid, didn't know anything about anything. And back then your cars had drum brakes. They weren't discs. So they were much more difficult to work on. So my mother, we pulled the car into the garage, and I needed to put rear brakes on it. So my mom shows me how to take it apart. And of course, you know, not paying attention, way back before social media. So you didn't have
YouTube.
PhD in Google and, you know, masters in YouTube. So she took it apart, and I've got all these parts and pieces laying on the ground, and she's like, figure it out. And, you know, it was a life lesson. It was, so I spent the entire day trying to figure out, you know, if I was smart, I would have went and jacked up the other side, took it off and kind of looked at it. But I put it together, took it for a test drive, heard things breaking. Okay. Brought it back in the garage and eventually figured it out.
Yeah.
And it taught me 2 things. 1, don't ever let your mother touch your vehicle. And 2, I never want to be a mechanic.
Yeah. I have a similar story when I was growing up, Dan. And, you know, I think I made my dad angry one time, and he put me in the car, and I thought, okay, I'm going to get a stern talking to from my dad. But he took me to the bad part of town, dropped me off, and said, figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out.
And I had to figure out how to get home. And
that explains a lot. That explains a lot.
Actually, kidding. That never happened. I just made that up.
No, and then growing up, I mean, you learn that you either figure things out and how to fix them. If you don't have the money to pay someone to do it, you better figure out how to do it.
So good question from the live studio audience on the Facebook. Maureen wants to know when the blue beach mats are going to be coming back on the beach.
Well, now that the beach renourishment is done, hopefully fairly soon. I want to believe we had some funding we received for a couple of them through TDC. But now that the beach is done, I would hope it would be very soon. I couldn't give her an exact date. But
and we're talking about the mobility mats that go at the beach access.
Yeah. We've looked at doing a couple other things too. Is there a way that we can set up maybe a beach access or two where it's ADA, where we could have, those big balloon beach chairs that could go out?
Cool.
There's a bunch of other things. Last year when we were over at the Florida League of Cities convention, we saw a few things. When Andy was still here, we saw a few things that could really work well for the town of Fort Myers Beach, to be able to extend it out further towards the water, to make it easier for some ADA people to get out there if they need to. So I know staff's looking at that. Obviously, we've got a lot of priorities going on, but that one's in the queue.
What if they get those beach wheelchairs? They also should get the life jackets. Remember, we talked about that a long time ago, getting the life jacket station up there, and then they can take it and bring it back.
Yeah, Dawn Pike actually sent me something too the other day, that bringing it back kind of before. Remember before the storm, there was a couple beach accesses that had those give a book, take a book things that set up.
Yeah.
And then someone had put a really colorful FMB with a new logo on it toy. It's like if you're down visiting with your kids and you bought Walmart toys or whatever toys, you can put it in it or recycle, let somebody else use. So I'd like to see those get brought back again. And she shared that with me this week or the week before. So I want to make sure get that in the hands of, now that we've got the beach done, it'd be nice to be able to start offering or doing some of those things that people really like to see. The book, give a book, take a book thing was really popular. We had some really nice, cool, colorful bike racks that were out there shaped in like dolphins and manatees.
So one of the things I asked Jim yesterday, Jim kind of helped out with the walk around at town hall, was after the whale opens, what's next? Like, it just seems like the last couple of LPA meetings didn't really have much meat in them. Like there was a time where you almost felt like the LPA needed to meet twice a month. There was so much going on, and now it just seems like,
well, it's, everything. I think, what Bill said before I came on is pretty accurate. You can approve all the projects you want, but once they're approved, it's really out of the control of anybody until the market's right, or this is right, or that is right. So approved projects don't necessarily mean they're going to start tomorrow. I think the salty crab is going to be moving pretty quickly. I don't know. It sounds like maybe Myerside might be moving along now. Somebody's going to have to be first, right?
Because weren't they approved first? Myerside was
I think
like right out
was
of
the first one.
Yeah.
My understanding is the salty crab was going to get moving pretty good, but some of the bigger scale projects, Moss Marine, Neptune, things like that.
But even if you look in Santini Plaza, the New York style pizza guy, when I first talked to him, he was like February, like last year, February. And now he's like, we don't even have a date. And I feel bad for the people on the South End because they don't really have a restaurant to go to, but I even kind of asked Jim yesterday, South Beach, it's like, he said he's hopeful for season. And I'm like, I look in that unit and I'm like, really?
Yeah. Well, and then the movie theater, that approval went through. So I don't know what their time frame is.
Do you think people are hesitant to get going quickly because there aren't enough people here in their mind?
I would, yeah. Economics play a huge role in it. I know all the condos aren't back online down in the South End. So the sooner those condos come back online, the more you can.
I feel like the South End is more alive than the North End. I being down there, even this time of the year, I feel like, I don't know, maybe that's because it looks so nice on the South End.
The South End is way bigger than the North End.
Well,
if you're counting the North End from here down,
I'm just saying you don't see as many condos.
The first bar / restaurant.
Holy shit! Wait, write that down. She needs a microphone. She said Ed's right. She's obviously drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand what the point is. I get that there's places down there, but we can't force.
Yeah, you can't force a restaurant to open. Maybe we can try and convince them more. Yeah.
No, I think I've said all along. I think the first bar / restaurant that opens up down there for the first 5 years is going to be very, very, very busy.
Michelle, that's a great question, and I wish I could get an answer for you. Most people that I deal with on that own businesses or stuff are responsive. Like even like last week, the Beach Baptist is trying to figure out how to rebuild and things like that. Or I'll call New York style pizza guy. I can't get in touch with anyone from 7-Eleven. I can't give you an answer other than driving by and seeing the one across from Junkanoo has the tanks in and has a sign up, and the one next to the whale looks like they're moving dirt. But their communication.
Well, they've got the rebar in. Looks like they're getting ready to pour the concrete. So.
But that you would
once you get that foundation and you'll see it goes up pretty quickly.
But my point is, she asked, what about the 7-Elevens? I wish I could call them and say, can you give us a time frame so people want to know when you're going to open, but they suck at that.
Well, I think
they just don't want to talk to you.
This is part of the reality. Once you get your approval, that just starts the process. Now
Right.
you have to go into design, permitting. I mean, some of these projects could be a year to 2 years between design and permitting before they can even put a shovel in the ground. And that's after the
And
approval.
financing.
Well, financing is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if the conditions are perfectly right, financing, interest rates, all that stuff are perfectly in line, you're still looking at a year to 2 year on these big projects before they're even going to be able to put a shovel in the ground.
Another good question that can be answered right across the table from us. Will the food truck park be open by January? He says it could be. So,
Possible.
I mean, they'll know this week. So once something happens this week, we should have maybe an answer next week and how fast it goes through the process. So there you go. I mean, you're seeing it play out.
There's
right
the
in front of us.
process.
I mean,
So
as he'll tell you, getting the approval is the first step. Then you got the design, then you got permits, then you got drawings, you got all these things that you have to go through to be able to meet before you even start digging.
So speaking of process, let's touch on the recall just for a few minutes, because you were interviewed a few times, or once or twice this week. A couple of the TV stations did reports on it. The deadline for John and Karen to resign, I think, is Tuesday. They're not going to resign, which means there'll be a special election there could be a special election, most likely will be, unless the lawsuit delays it, or unless the lawsuit goes on to a trial. Then I don't know how that whole thing plays out. But right now, there will be a special election between 30 and 60 days from when the second batch of names was verified. There is some misunderstanding on how the special election will be, how it will be conducted. Like, my reading of the statute is different than what Bill Veach posted on his page. My reading of the statute is voters will go in and it'll say, should John King be recalled, and the second one will be an option not to recall. And then my reading of it is the names of the candidates will be on that same piece of paper for voters to vote. His reading of it was the recall election will happen first, and then a second election will happen to elect the people. So, I mean, I read it a different way. I don't even know what the right answer is, because I don't think anybody does.
I mean, let's say it's 60 days. That's a really short window for people to qualify. You know, if you're going to run, to me, it would seem to make sense. And again, I don't know which is the right way, which is the wrong way, but or who's right or who's wrong, and how to me, the process seems like it would work best if there is a recall election, that you have that first. If they aren't recalled, then there's no need to go through the work of getting people to qualify, put their names in, doing all the things that they have to do. I mean, you can't just put your name in and say, I'm going to run for council. There's things that you have to go through to be able to achieve that.
I don't think there's much of a qualification other than proving that you lived on the island for 1 year. I think that's
one. Yeah.
That's one of the qualifications. You're not going to raise any money. There's none. You're basically just.
I don't know if you have to do petitions, or you got to pay. There's got to be a fee, I'm guessing, that you have to pay, which every election you have to pay to the board of elections, to the supervisor elections, to be able to process the paperwork.
So
I think the way you said it, if the recall was above and then who's your vote down below, you have to wait and see if they get recalled before you can.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a paper ballot, it's going to be digital
like
ballot.
that. I think it's got to be two separate things.
It doesn't say that.
What kind of mess would it be if you said no, you vote no, I don't want to recall them, and then you go ahead and check some other ones anyway?
Yeah, because people have a hard time with directions.
Yeah,
hopefully we'll get some clarity.
Well, I think even if you vote no and you vote for somebody, if the recall doesn't happen, the Board of Elections is not going to count the votes. I mean, let's face it, they are going to get recalled. I mean, there's no. If anybody thinks they're not going to be recalled, they're just kidding themselves.
Well, I don't think anybody knows it's going to go to that. It's going to go. I mean, there's still lawsuits pending for both sides.
So here's what's
we'll
going to
happen.
You know, I don't know jack shit, but here's what's going to happen.
Never met him either.
That judge is going to dismiss those lawsuits, because that judge has no business getting involved in what the state statute set out clearly. They said 3 levels of. This is why recalls never succeed, because they make it hard on the recall committee to get to the recall election. There are enough people pissed off on this island about Seagate, we'll talk about that in a second, to get it to a recall election. You get 10%, you get 15%, and then you have this recall election if they don't resign. And that never happened in Lee County for the history of Lee County.
Well, I think that I think what we're seeing is an unintended consequence in the state statute.
I disagree.
Right?
I disagree.
And what I mean by that is
the statute.
I totally disagree.
I don't know that the intent was for it to be in small. I mean, intent was for all municipalities, but the consequences are only having to have 505 votes. It's much easier for a recall election to happen in the town of Fort Myers Beach, just simple numbers wise,
disagree.
versus Cape Coral.
You still
to
have
get
to have
15% of the registered voters in Cape Coral would be very difficult.
But Dan, you still have to have enough people really pissed off at you. They are.
I'm not disagreeing with that point. I'm not disagreeing with that they haven't met the threshold, because they have. What I'm saying is what you're seeing is an unintended consequence. At least as long as I've been paying attention, 800 votes roughly wins an election for you, right?
And you got 600
voters,
and you got 600 people that signed the petition. So here's my point. My point was
the biggest flaw in it for me is that you don't have to provide any proof.
Right.
Of course, yeah.
That's if you want to go through the process, that's fine, but you should be required at a bare minimum to show some sort of proof that has to be verified. And just saying you have proof isn't proof.
Right. That I do agree with that. I do agree. The two things are, I think the state legislature made it purposely hard for recallers to get to a recall election, because you got to do all these processes. You got a certain amount of time.
But
and I think there's a
but they made it easy in that regard, that you don't have to prove it.
Right.
And to me, trying to be a problem solver, it seems like this could be a fairly simple solution. We have an ethics commission.
That's right.
If you have an issue, run it through the ethics commission. If they find no fault in it, it shouldn't be able to go to the recall. You should, if the ethics committee hasn't found a violation, how can you have a recall election? I mean, I could say the no proof thing is mind boggling.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I totally disagree with. I think that the state legislature did it for a purpose, and it served its purpose in this case on the beach because people are angry. But let's just look back at the TV report on, I think it was NBC, whoever Dave Elias is, whatever. He's supposed to be some kind of investigative reporter, right?
Yeah.
So he interviews Murphy, the former mayor, and Murphy says John King violated the Sunshine Law. That's what he said. Well, we know that's not true. I mean, at least there's no proof of it. And maybe it's true and somebody has proof of it, but they never provided it. And at least the general understanding is it's not true. So you think Dave Elias who's an investigative reporter, would say, okay, Mr. Murphy, can you show me the proof? I mean, that would seem like the easiest follow-up question from an investigative reporter, to say, show me the proof. And he didn't even ask him that question. It was just like he just let it go, like it was a foregone conclusion that John King violated the Sunshine Law. Now, both of them have denied it vigorously. They've denied it.
And I believe they've requested through lawyers to get the proof, right? If I'm not, I'm not following the legal side of it all that much, but did they not ask to have?
They've asked for discovery, and then the lawyers on Veach and Murphy's side have tried to squash the discovery. Okay. They tried to dismiss the lawsuit, which I think it will be dismissed. But so the TV report goes on to say that, okay, so they didn't ask for proof in any way, and there was a second part of that report that he could have had a follow-up question for. And I've totally lost track of what it was. So, I mean, there were two good questions that he could have asked if he called me.
Yeah, I have not got a chance to watch the.
Oh, I know what it was. Let me finish. So
yeah, you gave him just enough time.
Yeah, thank you. If you're following the whole thing, you all know that you're recalling them because of Seagate. I mean, if we're being honest, we know everything about that recall has nothing to do with violating the Sunshine Law or taking gifts from developers. It has to do with Seagate. The second follow-up question would have been to Ray Murphy, isn't this all about Seagate? That would have been a simple question if you're following along. Nothing like that at all. He just let Murphy get away with accusing John King of violating the Sunshine Law, which is untrue.
But even if he said, yes, it's about Seagate.
At least it's on the record with him saying it on the record.
But didn't we interview Bill Veach and he said it?
He did say it back then.
Okay, well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just saying. I'm no investigative reporter, and I still was able to ask that question. So,
well, unfortunately, we're at a point where it's down a rabbit hole, I think, and we'll see where it ends up. But, you know, it's unfortunate, as I've said many, many times, and I'll say it again. You know, whether you love the way John and Karen vote or you hate the way John and Karen vote, you have a method to be able to vote them out of office, should you want to, based on their votes. Using this as that tool or as that weapon, if you will. It's your right to do it. And,
sure.
and I'm not saying that you shouldn't go. To me, and again, I don't want to blame Veach or Murphy. They're doing exactly what they're allowed to do legally. Mm-hmm. So you can't blame them. It's just, to me, it's a loophole, the proof thing. And I've said it and I'll say, do I think either one of them did anything wrong sunshine wise? No. And if you have it, please show it. I think you would get a lot of people to come to your side
That's
if
right.
you in fact do have proof
Right, and
that
I
they
think-
did
I
it.
think-
But
Whatever
I was
happened
gonna-
to innocent until proven guilty, you know, and
Well,
that's kinda
Veach's
what it-
argument to that is this is not a court of law. This is a court of public opinion. And he's
And
right about that.
I don't disagree. And again, I'm not going to sit here and bash Veach or Murphy. They're doing exactly what they're allowed to do by state statute, and we'll see where this ends up.
And here,
But
it's
this,
unfortunate.
but this wouldn't have got. So it got to this point because there was a vote that came up, and the vote was allowed by the way that things are done on the beach. You know, they were allowed to come forward with their plan. They being Seagate, and they were allowed to vote on it one way or the other. The way that, you know, if you didn't have that open, this wouldn't have happened.
Right.
Like if you didn't have the development agreement process or the CPD process in the comp plan, like other places do, you wouldn't have this issue. And I thought that that was the whole reason for incorporating, was to prevent stuff like this from.
Yeah. And I think that's an important thing to point out, Kim, is that everybody went through the process that So Seagate used that as their
How long is
method
the-
of going forward.
Is the development agreement, because, you know, I don't go down a rabbit's hole like he is. Has that been in place? When did that get put in place?
I don't know specifically when the wording was in there, but it has been in there
A
long
long
before
time.
Ian. Yes,
Mhm.
it was always there. And actually, the attorneys brought it to our attention that there are development agreements, which, because there was talk about how do we. You remember the whole point of the development agreement was to help the small businesses get moving. And none of the small businesses have really used that, right? Because at the end of the day, to me, I've been vocal. I've never been a huge fan of the
Right.
development agreement, simply because there's too much. To me, you take our staff out of it. You're basically saying, this is how big you can build the box, and there's no context. Whereas like a CPD, you have to know where the air conditioner is going to go. You have to know the height of each floor. You have to have detail that they can actually review. And you know, when Sarah and I had a meeting, and Sarah looks at me and I'm like, Sarah, I know you don't like these. What is it about it? And she verified my suspicion is that it really takes them out. She says, what are we reviewing?
Yeah.
We're reviewing an overall height. Okay. We're reviewing an overall setback. Okay. You know, and you still have to go through the other things to, you know, through the LDO and all that kind of stuff. But it's nothing against Seagate. Seagate did exactly what they were allowed to do.
Right.
And they got their approval, and now it's going down whatever road it's going to go down. But
Yeah.
is this thing even working?
Yeah, it's
Maybe I'm
working.
not
Yeah, you're
talking loud
working.
enough. I don't know.
No, so the I guess the only thing, I mean, do you think John and Karen should resign?
Well, that's up for John Karen to decide.
Let me ask you a
Um,
different way. If it were you at this point of the game and you had a chance until Tuesday to resign, would you resign?
Well, I'm going to be completely honest with you, Ed. And if it were me in that position, I would be torn, simply because I understand that if you did resign, people would look at that as an admission of guilt.
Right.
Again, I don't think either one of them did anything wrong, and,
Right.
and I'll support whatever decision they make, which it sounds like they're going to continue forward, and I'll support them. If it were me, knowing everything that I know now, I would probably get out of the way, and I
Yeah.
would do that specifically because I would want to give the power back to the people that were elected,
Right.
and allow the elected officials to then put someone in that position. If for some reason it goes through the election or the recall process and they get recalled, now it could be, you know, anybody can run at that point, which is fine. I encourage everyone to put their name in that wants to run. But the passive lethal resistance for me, if I was sitting in that position, I would think very hard about getting out of the way and allowing the council to do what the charter allows them to do and put people in those positions.
But do
But I
you-
completely respect their reasoning for why they want to do it, because I would have that good, you know, I'd have that bad evil,
Mhm.
good, you know, devil, good, evil, and I wouldn't want someone to look at me as though I admitted any guilt. So I completely understand that. But I would also be looking at, you know, I took the oath. This is just me specifically talking. I was elected and took the oath to do what was in the best interest of the community. And if I was in that position, I would have a very hard time deciding between the two. But right now, and I'm not going through it, so it's very
I know.
difficult. But
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
probably lean more about doing allowing the process to go through with
let
the
me-
council.
But you're.
I don't know if that's as honest. I mean, it's as honest as I can
I
be.
know, but it's.
But I respect what they're doing, and I stand beside them 100%.
Yeah, I think my opinion is they have one last opportunity to give this recall committee an FU, and that's to resign. Everybody knows they didn't.
I mean, you could look at it as they could, if it does go to a recall, they may not get recalled. That's another. I mean,
I
that's
just have a hard time
big
believing
FU
that, because I
wanna put it
think
that way.
people that are have signed the petition are motivated to vote them out. People that are not, they don't really care that much about Seagate. Are they really going to take a day out to go vote
Well,
to
and
save Seagate?
well,
Is the
for
way
me,
they're looking at
for
it.
me, it becomes a numbers game. Again, this is just, you asked me if I was sitting in that position, so I'm going to talk to you as though I was sitting in that position. I would be looking at it as a numbers game. If you had 600 people that signed to vote me out,
Mhm.
do I have 650 people to vote me in?
But the other side of that, Dan,
that's the way I would look at it.
that's just 600 people that signed the petition. Do we know there are probably more people that didn't sign that are still upset about Seagate?
But do you not know that there's not 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 people that would say they did nothing wrong and we want this to go through?
I think they would say they
Or
did
they
nothing.
were in support of.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you never hear, you always hear the negative. You never hear the
But,
positive.
okay, I think that if there was a serious vote on whether or not they violated the Sunshine Law, yes, I would stay in and say for sure. I think that's a vote on. This is a vote on Seagate, 100% vote on Seagate. And even though they're not saying it because they don't have to say it, that's really what it is. And so I think the only listen, I wouldn't quit.
All
I'm
right.
not a quitter, but I would say that's the only chance they have to say, to the recall committee, because then you three get to appoint somebody you want to appoint, not somebody the recallers want on the town council. Now you make
What
the
is-
recallers run
even-
for election.
Even in the worst case scenario, let's say they get recalled, Ed, it doesn't mean that whoever gets out there is going to get elected. I mean, there could be 20 people that run for those spots. It could be 2. It could be 4. You don't know.
Okay. You're joking with me now, right?
No,
You're
I'm not.
totally
There
joking.
could be 4 people that run for it, and 2 have visions this way, and 2 have visions this way, or 3 have. Doesn't mean they're going to get elected. You still have to have an election.
Yeah, I think that you're kidding yourself if you don't think 2 people
Okay.
are going to be anti-Seagate that get on the town council. Let's say, just for argument's sake,
But that still doesn't solve the problem for them of
Yeah.
Seagate. There's still
right?
Seagate's
it's
Seagate's
still-
been approved.
That's right.
Seagate's been approved,
Right.
right?
The only way Seagate comes back up is if the judge sends it back from this writ, which is really was the right way to do it. They argued it in court, and here comes our studio is coming down. Megan's supposed to be paying attention, but she's touching other women over there instead of helping us out with the studio. So
Well, if it would have been
I
built
forgot where I was.
correctly, we wouldn't
No
have this
kidding.
issue.
I'm totally not bringing this. I'm getting rid
All
of
right,
it.
let's move on.
No, what? So it was
Yeah,
anyway.
It was a long. Yeah, I wish Karen and John luck.
Yeah.
Close this loop. I support whatever decision they made. It sounds like they've made their decision. I don't feel they did anything wrong.
Well, neither do I.
and-
100%.
And we'll see where it goes. It's unfortunate, not just for them, but for our community.
Listen, I was around Ray Murphy for years when he was still talking to us. He talked to town council members all the time. Every time you saw him, so could he have violated the Sunshine Law? Sure. Do you think in a small town like this, you're not going to have conversations with other people? You should all just be smart enough not to talk about anything that comes before the board. It didn't happen with John and Karen, and it certainly the gifts thing. You would think if there was a gifts thing, that would be a serious violation that you would send it up to the commission on ethics, but none of that was ever filed. So, and they did write it the way they should write it. You got to give them credit for it.
Yeah,
Whoever advised them gave them good advice.
It's going to be a few months before we see a finality to whatever way this goes. And
So Terry wants to know, ask Dan about the new development's impact on infrastructure. Talk about the pipe, Dan. We haven't talked about the pipe in a while.
Well, I've always had an issue with that. We were maxed out before the storm, and I think we're going to be extremely maxed out after the storm. So,
It's like a sale. He's just.
someone's getting angry.
Oh, now he's going to throw it.
He's going to take his.
You
whoopee
know, I
blanket
was
and go
listening
home.
to a podcast where it said we're
It's
all
actually
just
better anyway. You can see
8-year-olds
the palm
inside,
trees.
and he's proving that point today. Yes, he's going to pick up his toys and go home.
Yeah, I have serious concerns with our infrastructure as this build out happens. If they all happen that have been approved, there's impact fees that you can use, obviously, to help offset some of that. But at the end of the day, you've only got I keep saying it, one tube coming onto the island, right?
Right.
That things have to pass through. And the county is working on the water issue with their, I think it's $200+ million renovation of the off island site that feeds the water. So there are changes coming. But when you're getting calls from condo owners who are on the 7th floor and can't get water pressure, it's concerning. We're operating under one water tower right now. We're getting funding to start to rebuild these, but it all takes time. So
do you think the impact fees, once they get established, I know this is hard to answer now, will be enough? And if not, where will the shortfall money come from to get the infrastructure built out?
For Cape Coral, going through the same thing.
Yeah, well,
same thing.
You're a barrier island and you've only got one main road, and it's, we're redoing the side streets. Sturrow Boulevard was done just before the storm. So there have been some improvements, but at the end of the day, what you're seeing is when you have king tides and full moons and heavy rain, if the water can't drain into the back bay like it's designed to do, it's got nowhere to go. So, I don't know how.
Are you saying there isn't really not a solution for that?
Well, there's no solution for Mother Nature. If the water is above the duckbills and above the drains,
there it is, the duckbills.
There's nowhere for the water to go, right?
So I know I don't mean to talk about. Oh, sorry.
I think that some of the things we're going to have to look at moving forward, obviously dredging the canals is one big thing. The seawall heights. Our house, for instance, we've been there 11 years. We've never had the water, other than the storms, come over the seawall. Now at king tides, the water is coming over our seawall. Our seawall didn't sink.
We like when
our dock hasn't moved.
Yeah.
Right.
The water's just getting
the water's just getting higher. And in 11 years, this year is the first year we've seen king tides where water has come up to the top of and come over. I mean, it's
king
so
tide. I love
people
king
who are
tides.
redoing their seawalls are elevating them 18 inches, 2 feet, to protect their backyards.
What is your favorite Creedence Clearwater Revival song?
Oh, Run Through the Jungle.
Run Through the Jungle. Yeah. And somebody asked a question. We love when the
folks. Are you going to need a levy here?
The folks ask questions from the live studio audience on Facebook. By the way, you draw the biggest audience out of anybody. I just want you to know that.
Oh.
I don't have a prize for you or anything. I'll buy you a beer after the show, but people tune in to watch you. I don't know why.
I'll buy you a beer. How about that?
Must very nice.
True.
Yeah. That's right. I can't buy you a beer because you're not allowed to take gifts unless you're Karen or John and it's Seagate buying you gifts. Then everything's fine.
No,
just kidding. What's the latest on the old Pierside property? You know what Jim said yesterday?
What?
I think it was Jim. He said he thought the.
Why do you ask a question then you don't let him answer?
It triggers an answer because Dan doesn't know. He said he pays $19,000 a year. So I heard that the property owners were all talking to each other again. That's what Jim said yesterday. Did you hear that?
I have not heard that, but I know Terry has been very quiet. I haven't heard from Terry as far as. I mean, I certainly hope they are.
Yeah.
I don't know how you have a resolution there without everybody kind of playing nice in the sandbox.
Yeah, I think Terry's still crying because he lost his 50-story hotel that he wanted to build.
Well, I mean, the problem is, obviously the CCCL line is taking away a lot of property, and the pier side, a lot of that was over where you can't build back now. So you lose. So you've got to go up to a certain extent, right? And now when you start adding elevators and stairs and all the things that you need for ADA, these postage-sized lots are very difficult to build on. So unless you can amass all of them to be able to make a project viable, it's going to be difficult. Yeah. So the initial idea was when all of us met after the storm, when we were still in the trailers on the fire department's property, was all the business owners got together with myself and some of the staff members, and we're like, how do we come up with an idea? And that's what kind of started the whole work together. The county was on board with helping with encroachment on some of their land to be able to do for elevator shafts or stairs or things like that. So now instead of having to have elevators for every single business or stairs for every single business, you can have one on each end and meet the requirements. So, and it was going somewhere, and I don't know exactly what derailed that, but.
And the next winner for the pool passes to the pink shell, Stephanie Wegman. Big hand for Stephanie.
Stephanie, what'd you win?
Thank you.
Passes?
Pool passes to the pink shell.
Where's Stephanie?
Very good.
She's right over here. We asked her. We asked her to pull the name out, and a miracle happened. She pulled her own name out, but it was totally fair. She didn't look in the bin. So
she's not restricted on getting gifts.
I can't believe I almost forgot this question, Dan. We know we have the ribbon cutting ceremony for the town hall on Wednesday at 9:00, and then you have your budget meeting on Thursday at 5:01.
We got 3 meetings on Thursday.
Thursday at 9, Thursday at 5:01, and
Thursday at 1. We have our shade meeting at 1 o'clock. I think
the shade meeting is a private meeting where you all talk about violate the sunshine laws.
No,
Is that where you're all throwing shade at each other?
No, it's a litigation matter where we can get together in a what they call a shade meeting and discuss our plan to move forward.
Yeah.
Once that shade meeting's over, all that information we discussed is public record, but it's not open to the sunshine until after you.
It has to do with a property owner. What was the name of the street? You remember the name of the street?
It was Avenue. I want to say Avenue E.
And this had to do with the whole fining thing before the storm, and it involved the sale of a property. And guess who was involved in the whole thing? Joe Orlandini was somehow involved in this whole thing. So the town has been trying to settle it with is his name Chris?
We've had 2 rounds of, I believe it's 2 rounds of mitigation discussions. So on Thursday, we'll discuss our next.
Yeah, I know you can't talk about stuff like that coming before the council, and I don't want you to get in trouble. But what I wanted to bring up lastly was that there is a proposal for 26% millage increase just on the town taxes. Now, Jim Adderholt said yesterday, I might be out of line saying this, but he said it on the show.
There's something new.
That he thinks that the town staff went back and sharpened their pencils to the point where the millage increase might be 0. Did you hear the same thing?
It's very possible. We all had one-on-one meetings, I'm sure, with town staff and Joe and went over, and they took our direction to heart. They went back and sharpened their pencil and looked at things. I'm fairly confident that it won't stay at 26%. Will it be 0? I don't know. I mean, I think we need
really
to be
sharp pencil.
We need to be very careful that we're not cutting the legs off of Will, for lack of a better term. I mean, he's still got to be able to operate.
And he's a tall guy.
And yeah, and I know, I wish he was a little shorter. I'm always looking up at him. But, we want to make sure that we can continue to offer the services that people have become accustomed to. We haven't raised the millage rate since the storm. We've been fortunate enough to get a lot of help. For me, a big concern, as I shared with staff, is our reserve funding. We never know when we're going to get hit with another storm, and the reserves that we had right after Ian were nowhere near enough.
Right.
Thank God for the help from FEMA and from our state to come in and help us keep the lights on. But to at some point start taking care of our
majority of emails.
I would say it's pretty close to 50-50 in the emails that I've received.
There you go.
And people that have stopped me on the street that don't want to, have their name out there. But this is the first time I've ever received emails at all in favor of a proposed millage increase.
I think 26 is high, but if it's 0, I think with a reserve issue, it probably shouldn't be 0.
And I think it's like every year, right, Ed? Once you have to start diving in and seeing what can be moved, can things be moved into TEC funds? Can things be moved into code enforcement or into community development that aren't there, right? That helps offset some things. And I think Joe and his staff did a great job, along with Will and Tracy and Frankie and all them and Jeff, and sitting down and saying, here's where everything is. I mean, here's what we could do. They did show us a path of being able to get to 0. So Jim is right. Doesn't mean that that's where it's going to end up.
Sure.
There's a lot of things in there that we'll have
Greg
to have a
is
discussion on.
By the way, Greg is right, and I do say this all the time. Even though if it was a 0 millage increase, you're still getting a tax increase because your properties have been appraised higher than they were last year.
You're still getting a tax increase from the last year, but what we're collecting is not quite right at what we collected pre-storm as far as ad valorem tax.
Well, what does that have to do with anything?
It has to do with a lot. Just like technically your taxes are still going up because you're not rolling back the rate.
Right.
So Greg is right.
Yeah.
But it's not.
You might want to get used to working with Greg because he might be sitting next to you at the time.
He might. I mean, it's very.
He doesn't.
Well, for me, it's very difficult because when you see some of the things that this staff has been doing, all while not raising the millage rate at all, is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Both from Keith and Chris to Andy and now to Will. Reserves is a big thing for us. We need to be prepared to take care of ourselves, just like you want to be prepared at your own house if you have emergencies. So it's going to be a good discussion on Thursday. I'm looking forward to it.
So, by the way, you are supposed to be government light. Let's not ever forget that. This town was created on the basis of government light. So,
Okay,
I mean, whatever that means, I don't even know what that means, honestly.
Well,
I mean, what does government light mean?
We've gotten lighter every year when it comes to staff. So
that's the way it should be. I mean, I've grown.
But here's the issue that I have. Eventually, you get to a point where people start yelling at you. Well, why don't we have this? Well,
I don't think people are yelling at. What are they yelling at you for? Why don't you have what? Why don't you have what? They have what they need on this beach. They have a beautiful beach, and that's really more than a lot of people have. Right?
Well, I'm not going to argue with it because no matter what I say, you're not going to agree with it anyway.
Right.
So
No, I don't like agreeing with you.
But when you call and you complain the boulevard isn't mowed and you only have got 2 people on staff that can do it.
The boulevard isn't what?
Isn't mowed. That's an
There's
example.
grass on the boulevard somewhere. When did I miss that? All I see is weeds.
Well, evidently your Barbie truck blinds you as you're driving down the road and you're too busy complaining about.
No, there's
Lake
smoke
Estero
coming out of it.
Yeah, and I can't look to the sides when I'm driving my baby truck down Estero Boulevard
Well, how do
because
you
I
even
have
see
to
out the
have
windows.
because I have to have 2 hands on the wheel
Well,
from
here
all
we
the
go.
puddles.
Yeah.
It's like driving through a lake
Yeah.
on the county-owned road. By the way,
It's all coming down. I mean, it's,
yeah,
how easy we forget.
yes.
How easy we
So
forget.
I don't know if anyone has any other questions, but let's pull. We have 2
But
more
yeah,
to pull.
the meeting is Thursday at 5:01 when it comes to the discussion about the ad valorem. Highly encourage you to continue sending us emails. We are receiving some emails from people one way or the other. If you can't be there or if you want to email and show up in person, please do. You'll have public comment to be able to speak as to what you want to, whether you're for or against it. I doubt we'll get anybody there speaking for it, but we are getting emails. At least I've been getting emails.
Yeah, and that's probably the most important budget hearing you want to go to because the second one is almost like you might tweak a few things, but that's the final vote. You have to vote on it.
I almost fell out of my chair when I heard John on your Friday show say what their millage rate was.
Yeah.
John Gunter
Yeah.
on Cape Coral. What did he say it was? Like,
5 point something.
they're not raising theirs. I don't know if
Yeah,
they're rolling it
their
back.
bottom was their rollback was
Listen,
think 5.14.
I think they're keeping it. I think he said
but-
they're keeping it the same, but
it's-
you've got your rollback on.
One of the things I couldn't understand about Cape Coral is when you get a house built in Cape Coral, you have to pay like $30,000
if you're in an area that
to hook your
isn't
water
hooked up to the water.
Well, it's something about the meters. There's like a $30,000 assessment for these meters.
That's a lot of money. Like that would.
Well,
totally,
you got to put the water lines way out there.
Then there's a big argument out there about how much money they should all make for that. That really is a full-time job. I mean, they're making like $48,000, which is it really is horrible.
All right, can we?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Cape Coral.
Donna Hamlet.
Man, I do.
Donna,
you still here? Donna Hamlet. Is Donna still here? You have to be
Donna
present.
Hamlet.
All right.
Somebody's
You
down there,
won
yeah. All right.
tickets.
There you
All
go.
right, one last winner for the tickets through the pool, and then we're going to do the Chris Young tickets because then everyone wants to get out and get ready for football.
Yeah, it's coming up.
I
You
can't
think
wait.
your
to
Giants are going to win?
not today.
Where's the bucket?
Probably not all year, but I'm really interested too in watching the Jets play the Steelers because of Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah.
I hope he breaks his Achilles on the first play. I mean,
Wow.
seriously,
One more.
that would be justice for the Jets.
That's bad karma.
Well,
to
you just
man.
gave
Bad
everything
karma.
away.
What? No, we got another pair of passes. We don't have any more passes. Where'd you do with all the prizes?
Oh,
Did you give them to your friends? We had 5 pair of passes and a pair of Chris
you're
Young
relying
tickets.
on him for math? Oh God. Looks like Ed's
Oh,
buying
we gave all the.
somebody some
What about the Chris Young tickets? We didn't. All right. Well, what the hell? I guess we gave them all away.
Welcome. You got the Chris Young tickets, not pool
Ah,
passes, because you're not paying attention.
I don't know. We're not. I can't wait for Marie to come back, so we don't have to. Rely
Oh
on-
yeah, right.
Just kidding.
Rude.
I'm just kidding. You
That's
know, Donia and Mike. They
I am
came.
getting out of the way of the
No,
shrapnel.
They
that's
came
coming
to
your
the
way.
Cape Coral show too, which was very nice of them to come over. So, any updates that we missed, Dan?
Yeah, just talk on the lighting just for a second.
Okay.
Friday we had a conversation. They've got obviously all the side street poles are up. Of the 400 and just over 400 poles that are going to be on Estero, they've got about 230-ish installed. As you've probably noticed, they're cutting concrete out, putting the bases in, and getting those poles to go up. Once the poles are up, FWC wants to be down here to just double check the lights as they go in and before they actually become live. So they said they're still shooting for the first 2 weeks of November for completion to actually have it energized. So
Some people were
all looking
emailing me
forward to it.
about the lights being put in certain spots and they were tripping over it because they're in the sidewalk or it's like
well, people say that they're in the middle of the sidewalk. They may be on the sidewalk at the back of the
yes,
sidewalk,
for sure.
but they're not in the middle. I've
No.
never seen one in the middle of the sidewalk.
They're not.
But if you want to get an idea of what they're going to look like, we haven't talked about it in a while. At night, just go to the corner of Crescent and Estero by the walkover. Those are the exact same lights that are going to be going down, so you'll get an idea of what it'll look like all the way down Estero Boulevard.
Go ahead.
No, that's kind of the update. Nothing's changed on that. So
that is Mean Gene's daughter. Everybody, you know,
on the
Gene.
phone.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
right here, right here.
Oh.
She hear Gene. That comes on at the beginning of the show. This voice right here. That's Gene. That's Gene's daughter right here. They used to have a place over at Parker Lakes over off the island. So yeah.
Nice.
Any other? So the lights, you already updated that.
Yes.
Anything
Again,
else?
you talked about it. The 10th, we'll be having a ribbon cutting for the new town hall, so people can come out and take a guided tour through the building to see where our staff is finally going to have a home to work in.
Good
I know
for them.
you covered it a little bit on your walkthrough with Jim and Will. You know, I think Amy Baker's moved 10 times since the storm. So it's really nice to be able to allow our staff to finally have a place to call home. And it's nice to be able to walk through the halls and see pictures in their offices starting to go up. And, you know, it's like anybody else. When you feel comfortable with where you're at, your productivity will probably go up. Not that they weren't being very productive, but it allows them a space to be able to know they have a safe space to go and do their job. And I'm really excited for the town staff to finally, it's taken a long time to get there. And I want to reiterate to those that are listening, none of the money that came for that building or the lot next to it came from directly from the town of Fort Myers Beach taxpayers. It came from state appropriation and insurance money to get that building and the lot next to it. And I think Ron Book is one of our speakers who is our lobbyist, who was very instrumental.
Oh no! Did you tell me there's a time limit?
Yeah,
Oh,
well, he's a
please,
busy
Mr.
guy.
Hour and 28
God.
minutes.
So he and his staff, he and Rhonda and their staff have been very instrumental in helping us.
Great work. But
If these guys don't get up, they're going to get decubitus ulcers from sitting so long.
Well, that's a big word.
A what? They're going to get a Cuban assault? What did you say?
Decubitus ulcer. It's a pressure sore.
I'm better at math than I am at words. Megan and I got into a little tiff last night over words.
You did?
I misused a word and she let me have it.
What did he say wrong?
I used aloof in the wrong. Because she was staring out the window like she was just like not paying attention to anything, and she was talking, but she was just.
She looked aloof.
I said, "You look aloof," and she lit me up like a Christmas tree.
Why? Because she wasn't.
Not what it means.
I think I would have said the same
So we
thing.
had to Google it, and I was.
You were still wrong, no matter what Google says.
Whether I was right or wrong, I was wrong.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
All right, these guys
Thanks
are
for
here
coming.
good luck to the Bills today. Buffalo. Who's Buffalo playing?
Thank you, Dan.
Who? Baltimore against Pitt. I guess he's done. Baltimore against the Buffalo
and you know
Bills
what?
today.
I
was going to ask him what the prediction of the Vikings game is going to be. And what's the final prediction for the Vikings game today?
Well, I don't know if Tim, my business partner, is paying attention, but he's a big Chicago fan. And Mr. Brian Coleman, if he's paying attention, they've been bombarding me with text messages about our cheerleaders that we have on our team now.
All right, Dan, give us a number.
So I think karma is going to strike. I think the Vikings are going to win 20-14, and they can expect their inboxes to be full of all kinds of fun memes next week.
For sure, with cheerleaders. So just one final thought on the cheerleaders thing. I mean, the guy cheerleaders in the college football, they belong there because they're throwing ladies in the air and they're muscular guys and they look like guys. But these two guys really, they almost come across like they want to be ladies. I mean, they're doing the whole feminine thing, and I mean, you know what I'm saying? Why on the Vikings though? The Vikings, the purple people eaters, the rough ass guys from the Fran Tarkington days,
I don't know.
and now this is what your season was about: two guys acting like ladies on a football field.
I just hope it's not a distraction. Whether you agree with it or you disagree,
clearly it is.
I hope one of the cheerleaders one of those dudes goes out on the field and spits on the opposing quarterback.
Not inciting any. Okay.
That's how the season. Here, that's how the season started this year.
Spoken like a disgruntled Giants.
I know, right?
All right.
All right. Thank you
Have a
so
good day.
much.
Bye. Did you want to say something?
I told Linda that she missed her dad's voice, so I told her we'd play
All
it
right,
at the
we'll
end.
play it on the way out, Linda. Is she? Oh, there she is over there. Yeah. All right. Before we get out of here and let you guys go watch football, Power Block Builders, everybody. Remember, we're only giving you names of advertisers that build in which the structures stay up without falling down. Not that that would ever happen on this island. You know, you would never just drive down Estero Boulevard and see a building sideways somewhere in the dirt. Certainly not if you call Power Block Builders. They've been 35 years doing this kind of stuff, which is a lot. That's 3 decades plus, dear. I bet you needed to get your calculator out to figure that out. They have Meet the Builders meetings where they showcase their homes currently being built. They can build all kinds of beach homes, from stick-built cottages to luxury custom homes. Give Power Block, you know, just the name has balls. When you say Power Block, you're not going to find anybody named Power Block on the Minnesota Vikings sidelines. That's for damn sure. So give them a call right now, 239-849-1919. That was a lovely year. That's when Kim was born, in 1919. 239-849-1919. Thank you all for coming, and good luck to your team today. Whoever your team is, today is the one day of hope that you have for your team. And usually after today, I just watch the NFL Red Zone because my team sucks so bad. You guys have a great week. Thanks for tuning in. And here's a little Gene for Linda.
Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Ladies and gentlemen, broadcasting live 100.